Welcome back to Geeky Stuff, guys. Now I have the review of the MGCOOL Explorer Pro 4K action camera. So this is on GearBest at the moment, and you can pick this up for around £37. From what you get in the box and the actual action cam, is really good price. A nice budget action camera. The main sort of accessories I've been using is the waterproof case and this fitting here as well on my stick. This comes off. They're the two main ones I've been using since reviewing it. All the others are in there, but there's plenty more you can do with it. I really like the design on this, although it does look like other action cams. It's built really nice. Although it's a cheap sort of action camera, you wouldn't really tell by looking at it and feeling it. The material is really nice. There's no flap to cover up the connections there. There's a battery compartment at the bottom. You have Wi-Fi selector at the top and a microphone to turn it on and off when you're recording. Power button at the front and the shoot button at the top to shoot your pictures and your video, also with the indication light. And lens at the front there and the LCD screen at the back. Now I went out and recorded over the weekend. Battery life is really good, although I wasn't using it constant over the 2 days. There's still some battery life left in it because I took it out of full charge, used it over the weekend, and there's still a bit of charge left. So battery's really good. So it's got 2 bars left there still. I've used 720p at 120 frames per second, and this does work really well. I slowed this right down to 30 frames per second, and it does that job really well, but you do notice quite a loss of quality, and it does look a little bit soft. But when you view it on smaller screens, it looks a hell of a lot better. I was viewing it on my 4K TV, and it obviously didn't look as good, but if you shrink the video down or the screen down, it looks a lot better. But the 120 frames per second and reduced down, it does soften the image. Also shot some in 1080p at 60 frames per second. I also slowed this down to around about 30, so half the speed. And again, that handles that really well. You can see the smooth actions, there's no real blur, but there is a little bit of softness with the quality. This isn't a GoPro, it's not like a £200 action camera. It is about £35, so you're not going to get amazing crisp video. But if you're on a budget and maybe it's your first action camera, you want to get into it, this is absolutely worth it. You want to try action cameras, spend 35 quid, have a little play with that. It's not GoPro quality, like I said, but the quality is acceptable, and when you're playing it back on smaller screens and devices, it is really good. So I tested the 4K out on this camera. It's not pure 4K, I believe it's interpolated. I did blow it up on my 4K TV, and it was quite soft in places. It wasn't really that sharp. But again, like I said, if you reduce it down on a smaller screen, the quality does look a hell of a lot better. And the majority of people pretty much watch stuff on their phones, which screen size is around about 5 inches now. I mean, viewing it on there will be absolutely fine. It will look a lot better than it would do blown up on a 4K television. But for the price, £30, £35, what do you expect? I used the waterproof casing when I went out the other day. I was on a nice pedalo boat, put the waterproof case on my little stick, and while I was out there, I thought I'd dip it in the water for a couple of minutes. You couldn't really see anything of the water because it's quite green and murky, unfortunately, but just proved that the case is waterproof. There was not one drop of water that leaked through at all, and the camera is still in perfect working condition as well. So the usability, camera is really easy to use. You flick through the modes with the power button at the front lot. And the settings, there's plenty of settings which I've showed you before in the unboxing video. 720p up to 120 frames per second, and also 4K at 30 frames per second. There's also 1080p at 60 frames per second as well. You can set your photo resolution, adjust white balance, date, time, factory reset, firmware version, and then press OK to exit. Really easy, guys. The bottom button here mutes the microphone on and off, like that. And the top one is for Wi-Fi. So if you've got an app, you can download the app and have direct access to the files on here and view them on your phone. So I'm going to leave you with some footage that I've caught over the weekend with this Action camera, so you can really see what it's capable of. Remember, it's a £35 camera. You get a hell of a lot in the box with all the accessories. Got a multitude of accessories in there for all different scenarios. £35. Really nice design. Doesn't look cheap or feel cheap at all. If your budget is low and you're just starting out with Action cameras, then why not start with the MGCOOL Explorer Pro? It's a good starting base. See how you got on with it, and then you can think about getting more expensive ones with slightly better quality. But it is a great starting point. So any questions, please comment below. Give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy the rest of the footage.